Hey everyone, it's 10 Types, and Battle Partners, along with the rotation, are right around the corner. And Battle Partners is a really cool set. It doesn't have the strongest cards, but there are a lot of pretty good cards that are really interesting. I'm going to say a lot. There's like 20 cards that are really solid in this set, maybe even 30, that are competitive level cards. However, those aren't always so fun to play, right? Let's be honest, we want to play some decks that are a lot crazier and sillier and just more fun. Dragon Ball can be fun, Raging Bull can be fun, but there are some other really silly rogue decks, and we're going to be taking a look at 5 today. These are all decks focused, I guess, around new cards. They all contain new cards. And these are cards that aren't super strong and are really fun cards that I think you should try out that you might really enjoy or might not because they might not be very good. But anyways, the first deck we have here is one of the decks that um, I'm kind of excited to play. It's a Badoo-based deck. A lot of these actually are semi-Badoo-based. This is the most Badoo-based one. Badoo obviously not a. I mean, it's new, but it's not brand new. It's not from Journey Together, but it item locks for free, and it also says it does 10 damage, and yeah, it does free retreat. It's fine. And then you have some other new cards. Volcanion EX is another new card, and this card is a card that says this one's not like super rogue. I actually had it on my top 10, but then it's a card that says if it's in the active, you can burn your opponent's active. Burn, if you're not familiar with it, it's a special condition, and what it says is that during Pokemon checkup, aka between turns, that burn Pokemon takes 20 damage. So this is an extra 20 damage, but you do 10, you do an extra 20. Then you flip a coin. If tails, then that Pokemon still burns. So you could get extra damage, but we'll ignore that. They could retreat out of it, or evolve, or switch. They can't play a switch, but they could switch out in some other way. Theoretically, like a Surfer or I guess Terra scenario. Those are kind of weird. Terra scenario is played, but that's more than just a switch. But anyways, we'll just ignore that. So you need some more damage, and even if you're doing 50 every turn, that's not enough, right? But then we have the new Magmortar. Magmortar is really cool. This isn't super good. It's mediocre, but its ability says Magma Ray, put 3 more damage counters on your opponent's burned Pokemon during Pokemon checkup. And let's say that they're just burned, then they like retreat or something. But then you can get 4 of these on your bench, and all of a sudden you're doing 10, right? But then you do the 20 from the regular burn, plus each one of these does 30 more. So you're doing 150 essentially. You're doing 140 with burn, getting knockouts between turns as well. Pheasantipede EX is like super good, right? It's arguably the best Pokemon in the game because of its ability that triggers if any of your Pokemon were knocked out during your opponent's last turn. But this isn't during their last turn. This is in between turns. So you get to go around that, which is really fun. I guess saying this deck's really fun. I mean, it's just item lock your opponent a bunch as well. We see like a bunch of switch. We see Surfer. Surfer is not really played that much. It's played some. It's kind of cool. It's that tier 2 supporter. You switch and then you drop to a 5 in hand. You need the switches to get into Volcanion EX and also out of Volcanion EX. This list plays 12 switch. You don't really have that many things you're so worried about. We see like supporters and disruption and stuff, but you need some Volcanion EXs to get that in and out of the active. You obviously want your Magmortars filling your board. That's only 8 deck slots for the Magmortars, and we don't really need energy. We see Jet Energy to function as a switch, and theoretically a second switch, but probably just a single switch. And we see some draw stuff. We see Handheld Fan as a disruptive card. We even see Crushing Hammer as well as another disruptive card and an Unfair Stamp. We see Dusk Ball, which says look at the bottom 7 cards of your deck. You reveal a Pokemon, you find them and put it into your hand, then you shuffle the other cards back into your deck. Dusk Ball is really interesting because it kind of is an Iona counter, I guess. I mean, it's just like a generic ball search card. Nest Ball and Ultra Ball are better. We're losing Capture Room as well. But Dusk Ball is interesting to see here, and you just want as many Magmars and Magmortars on your board as possible. So, this is really, really fun to see here. And yeah, this deck it's a weird deck. Nothing super crazy about it. It's not like you have these crazy combos. You see Gravity Mounted do a little extra damage. Blood Mirror Saluna EX just as a strong Pokemon at the end of the game. But yeah, this isn't anything crazy. You're just burning your opponent and item locking and that's it. That's the entire game plan. Definitely a very really unique deck though. Most decks that play Badoo play it to attack like once or twice throughout the course of the game. Maybe win the game at the end through Badoo by like exploiting some resource deficiency from your opponent or punishing them in the early game, slowing them down, stopping them from like candying. But it's not a whole game plan card. But yes, it is here, so that's pretty interesting. Also, if you're enjoying the video, consider liking. Also, comment down below if you want a part 2 to this video, because there are lots of really interesting decks. Obviously, there are a bunch from the new set, and then there's a lot, even more, that are older that probably most of you have never heard of. But then the next deck here is a Wailord deck. Wailord, if you play GLC or know anything about it, and know anything about it with a new set, Wailord, does a lot of HP, right? I guess if you don't know really much about Pokemon in general, you might know Wailord has a lot of HP, and it has 240 here, which is the most for any single prizer ever, and it does 10, 50 more for each water energy attached to it. This is obviously a standard deck, and so it's not super strong. It's HP. Pidgeot EX has more HP, and it's considered somewhat squishy. And this is doing decent damage. It's not amazing damage, but you can get a bunch of energy on with Baxcalibur. This deck is definitely simpler. Some of the decks get pretty weird as we go into it, but you also have Regigigas. Regigigas is like kind of insane. It just one-shots Terras, like essentially all of them. I think. I assume there's some that it wouldn't one shot outside of like Pikachu EX, which you don't one shot. But I can't think of any off the top of my head that have more HP than 330, which is how much you do to Terras. So that's good, though. It doesn't knock out non-Terras, really. Wailord, though, just has so much HP. There's nothing really too crazy with this deck. If you lead Chien-Pao Excalibur, which is a pretty solid deck, it's not amazing, but it's okay. Then it's like that. We don't see rare. We see we see some rare candies. We see more TM Evolution. We see a 2/2/2 Excalibur line. We see Revavroom as well as the engine here, which is kind of interesting. It's nothing super interesting here. We see Reversal Energy to do a bunch of extra damage as well, so it's cool. Again, nothing super crazy going on with this deck, but you do have a lot of HP on a single Charizard. That's the fun thing. You could put in Luxurious Cape or Giant Cape to give yourself an extra 100 HP. Is it good? No, it's not what you want to do. We see Precious Trolley. I'm personally not a big Precious Trolley fan. I just put in... there's no Gust. I just found these lists on Limitless, played in City Leagues. They came in top 16. They will be linked down below in the description, so you can click on them. Then you will be able to copy them. You'll be able to copy them once the set comes out on Limitless, which I don't know exactly when it'll be. Hopefully it's like really quickly after the set drops, but it will be within like a day or two. Then you can go ahead and copy these lists. If you copy them before, it won't import into live. Obviously, if you copy it now, it won't import into live because the cards aren't in live. But even as soon as they are, you might need to wait like a day. So do keep that in mind. But anyways, their lists are there in the description for you to copy if you want. The next deck here is, this one's pretty cool. It's Lycanroc with Spike Energy. It's Frostlass Budew. Again, we see Munkidori, we see Maractus as well. Maractus is cool. I'll talk about it first. If it's knocked out from damage, then you put 6 damage cards on the attacking Pokemon, and for one colorless, you do 20 and stop your opponent's Pokemon from retreating, which is pretty nice. If they're active, they could switch out first. This isn't like some foolproof strategy. You do damage, and it's just to buy a few extra turns. Also has an ability. Essentially, every Pokemon in this deck has an ability. Not much of the previous evolutions don't, but like Mimikyu does, Munkidori does. Frostlass does. Frostlass puts damage counters on Pokemon with abilities, though not other Frostlasses. Bloodmare or Saluna EX, if you like have to start that, that's so bad, because it'll get knocked out and probably get stuck, and it'll be really bad. But then we see Munkidori to like move the damage off, but you're probably still gonna be taking more damage than you're healing with Munkidori, almost certainly. So that is to kind of buy some time. Like Mimikyu, that's probably not surviving too long. But you do have the Lycanroc as the showcase Pokemon of the deck. Again, Budew is like pretty important as well, but it's Budew. We don't need to talk about it that much. But the Lycanroc says its attack does for 3 colorless, you do 40 and 40 more for each damage counter on your opponent's active. I don't know the math super well. I think if you have... I don't know. It gets weird with Frostlass as well, so they need to get damage cards on them through Frostlass and through Spike Energy. Spike Energy is a colorless energy here. Colorless Special Energy says when you're hit into, your opponent takes 20. They get 2 damage cards on them. And this has been played in a few different decks in Japan. Stuff with Lycanroc, as we'll see in just a moment, but some generic stuff, including like walls and stuff. It's fine. It's a special energy. It's not amazing, but it's not bad. Honestly, if we had Archeops that wasn't rotating, then I think this would be a pretty solid card within Lugia, though not quite as good as like powerful colorless, but still pretty good. Then you have Munkidori, Spike Energy, Frostlass, and theoretically just like other attacks like Budu and Maractus to get damage on your opponent's board, and then you do big damage, and you power this up using Spike Cloak, which says you can use this ability on play, on evolution from hand, and you attach up to 2 Spike energy cards from Disco Pal to this Pokemon. You need to get them early on, but you have a bunch of draw boards. We see 4 Resource, 4 Iono, 2 Mortis Conviction. Of course, Earthen Vessel only gets basic energy, so can only get the Darkness from Munkidori. But the idea is to just get yourself a bunch of Frostlasses, and you got like the Lycanroc. Hopefully you're not knocking yourself out with the Frostlass, obviously, but you got some really fun stuff going on with just a bunch of damage counters flying all over the place. This is really fun. I enjoy decks like this. I guess Frostlass is pretty cool, except one random. I don't know if this isn't like a rant, but Frostlass is kind of annoying to play physically because even online it's a little slow, but IRL it's pretty slow and kind of annoying to keep track of. You need just a lot of damage counters, but anyways, yeah, it's pretty fun, and Munkidori is fun, but it's kind of fun when you're like taking these slightly longer games as a single prize based deck, essentially entirely single prize based. So yeah, this deck's really fun. Even if you don't want to try out Lycanroc, I definitely recommend you try out some Frostlass Munkidori deck. They're definitely like okay in standard. You can play like Budu. They float around. Here's just a random one. This one plays Noivern in EX. It plays Elekid as well. It plays Mawile. I think I have played this list. I don't think I played it on my channel. I might have. Or this list. This one's actually pretty similar as well. But yeah, Frostlass is pretty fun, and a card that has some different use cases. Also it's being played with the Spathra EX in Japan. I'll mention that here. This is a solid deck. It's not like terrible. It's kind of weird. Again, Spathra EX has an ability. It's a disruptive Pokemon, kind of like Budu. But yeah, we see that. We see Lucky Helmet in this random list I open up as well. There's just so many weird hidden gems. Oh, and then also you can play it with the Hop stuff. I played I think this list or a very similar list to it. I messed around with it some. Proxy and played it some, and yeah, it's fun. And nothing really crazy to say about it, but yet again, still a really fun deck with Frostlasses and Munkidoris, even if you're not building it around Lycanroc. You could build Lycanroc not with Frostlass Munkidori. Lycanroc is definitely, I think, a pretty cool rogue Pokemon. You could pair it here with Dragapult. That's not so rogue. I mean, not that most people are playing Dragapult with this, but Dragapult is, the top deck post-rotation based on data, and it's really popular now as well. I think it's the top deck pre-rotation, so nothing super rogue about that, but this is a really cool Pokemon and a deck as a whole. The next deck is Mamoswine EX. I talk about this. I've said it's like not super good, but it's fun. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not fun. Mamoswine EX has the attack here. Reverberating March is the translation, and it says it does 180, 40 more for each bench stage 2 Pokemon. So if you got like 3 of those on your bench or whatever, 3, maybe 4th, and you're like one-shotting pretty much everything there. And then it is 2 fighting on a stage 2, and you need like a bunch of stage 2s in play, right? So that's a lot of work. But then you have your ability Mammoth Carry, which is each turn you can search your deck for a Pokemon. And if you have multiple Mamoswine EXs in play, you can use multiple abilities. We actually see Ludicolo in this list as well. This is why I chose this one. It gives you 40 extra HP, which is pretty fun. You already have a natural 340, but you can be up to 380, and I mentioned Pidgeot EX is a little, a little weak for a stage 2 EX, or it's weak for a stage 2 EX. It's not like a super vulnerable Pokemon sitting on the bench all the time, but it is, 50 lower, 60 lower than the highest ones. Mamoswine's really high, but we see 330 on Charizard EX, which, plays Pidgeot EX generally, especially pre-rotation, so Pidgeot EX still a good Pokemon though to get any card every turn. You can't use more than one of it, but it's still really nice. It's stronger than Mamoswine EX, but only once per turn thing. And then we add all, and then we see Garganackle. Garganackle accelerates a fighting from the discard to one of your Pokemon, and then you heal 30 from that Pokemon. It's fun. The healing is honestly really awkward. Generally, you want to get the energy on before so you can actually attack. And then healing, you already have the energy, so you don't need the energy. It's kind of awkward. We see 7 fighting, so mostly fighting here. Some let's play a bunch of reversal and some different things. We see Clink Clank. I would actually definitely play a Luxray. Luxray is really good, allowing you to get a stage 2 immediately onto your bench if you're down. Itself, you play it if you're down on prizes, which I feel like would be, with these rogue decks, they're not the strongest, so you might find yourself falling behind. So I think Luxray is a really good option. Clink Clank's fine. You can instantly play it if your opponent has a stage 2. There's actually like a Pokemon. I don't remember. This might have been. It was in some video that Pokemon released. It might have been the trainer's Pokemon reveal video, and they like had Klinklank in it. Does it counter to, I guess, Chien-Pao Excalibur? I mean, it's not very good as an attacker. It's a good Mamoswine, but it's not really good in much else. But Klinklank is a cool card. We see Corso Master Gopan EX is a really good wall. Pheasant EX, of course, as well. Just a good Pokemon. We see Grand Tree, TM Evolution, a bunch of Airkins. Only 3 here. I mean, we see TM Evolution and Grand Tree, which are somewhat backbones of the deck, and you're not necessarily attacking turn 2. You want to, and if you're going second, you could TM Evolution to get up a little faster. And then once you're going, you can get like lots of cards into your hand. Mamoswine EX is pretty similar to a few different cards, but the one I'd compare it most to is the Nidoqueen from the Team Up expansion, the Relentless Flame theme deck, and it's a pretty cool card that allows you to just kind of go ahead and set up it. And if you played with that, it's a similar feel. It's not an amazingly powerful Pokemon because its ability is like solid, but it's not instantly setting up your board. But the bigger issue is it's kind of awkward to figure out how to attack with it, but it is really strong once it's going and hard to deal with. And Mamoswine EX is in a very similar position. I don't know how good the Ludicolo is. It's probably not great. This is one of 2 decks I saw Ludicolo in, so I clicked on those. Someone played it in their Hydreigon EX deck as well. It doesn't stack, so it's just here for consistency reasons, but that's like kind of fun. But then the last deck we have here, which is really cool, is this. I don't really know what this is. It's kind of like Cloth Terapagos. It's built pretty similarly to that, but there isn't any Cloth, and there's only one Terapagos EX, and we see a Badoo as well, which is sometimes the other attacking option. I don't really know what's going on here, to be honest. We see Crispin. There's only 4 targets for Crispin, 4 energies, 2 Water, 2 Darkness. And then we see 4 Carmen, 2 Boss, 2 Crispin. This deck came, like 6th, 10th? Okay, 10th's all right. And then we see Iron Valiant EX and, like, 4 Switch, and we see Peckrunt EX and Ladash EX. So we have, like, a bunch of switching options. Iron Valiant EX adds extra damage. Volcanion EX adds extra damage as well. I guess the idea is send up Volcanion EX and then attack and then retreat into Iron Valiant EX. So then that's 40 extra damage. And then you Peckrunt EX to send up your Peckrunt. The only targets for Peckrunt EX here are Peckrunt and Brute Bonnet, which Brute Bonnet you definitely don't want in the active. Then you also use Brute Bonnet and you poison your own Peckrunt, I think. Peckrunt, if you don't know what it does, it's a weird card. It's like a promo exclusive kind of. But you do 10 and then poison. Oh, and then they can't retreat. I completely forgot that's what it did. That stopped retreating. But then you do you put 5 more damage cards on their poison Pokemon here because of your ability. And you can poison with Brute Bonnet. You don't need to be attacking with Peckrunt, but you can. And so this will be extra poison. So let's say you don't attack, then you're doing poison for 6, and then you've done burn for 2, so 20, a total of 80 plus the Iron Valiant EX. We'll just say use 1, maybe 2. You're doing 100, 120 on a single bars and no energies either. We see Jet energies as well to get some more switch. Then we see that you can attack, and then you're doing an extra 10, so it's like 30, and then you're also doing an extra 50 from Binding Mochi, which is interesting. So you're then doing like 170, I think. I don't know if these numbers are holding up. You also have Mew EX to copy attacks, and that can also use Binding Mochi. We see Wellspermass Ogerpon EX. You can use Sob to trap for 1 colorless and do 20. It can be boosted with Binding Mochi again. Blood Mercelunia EX, the Trapagos EX can also attack and can be boosted by Binding Mochi. Peckrunt EX can theoretically attack, but that's pretty awkward. Yeah, and then we've got Badoo. Poisoning that's a little sketchy because you'll be, taking damage, but you don't have much HP to work with, but you can do that. The Master Ogerpon EX can snipe. A lot of weird stuff going on here. We see multiple Squawk-Relays, which I guess you can attack with. They're like pretty high Pokemon counts here, which is kind of surprising. We see a Techno Radar to get out your Iron Valiant EXs, which is kind of cool. A lot of weird stuff here. We got Secret Box. Yeah, I don't know. This deck is weird. I was just clicking around and I saw this and I had to share it with you. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Tell me what you think about this deck. It doesn't look super strong because, like, what are you attacking with? It's kind of weird, but it seems really fun. But I hope you enjoyed. Consider joining the channel, subscribing, liking the video. Liking the video helps a ton. And it's really easy. Comment down below as well if you have any thoughts on these decks. If you want a part 2 of this. And also if you want, if you have other specific deck suggestions or you want to see me play any of these, and also shoutouts to my newest YouTube members, Acton, Robles, Osterland, Dudsta, and Tackman for joining. But I hope you enjoyed, and as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.